We go to air. The flooding catastrophe is escalating. We've seen houses ripped from their foundations by rapid torrents that are swamping the New South Wales mid-north coast. The Warragamba Dam is spilling over. That's threatening communities in Sydney's west. Evacuation orders are in place right across the state. Since yesterday morning, there have been nearly 3,000 calls for help to the SES and 450 flood rescues. Record amounts of rain have already fallen in what's been described as a once-in-a-century storm, and it isn't over yet.
We have reporters stationed in the key areas under threat. First to today's Gabrielle Boyle in Richmond, northwest of Sydney. Gabby, good morning. There's an evacuation order in place where you are.
Certainly many evacuation orders in place this morning. I'm joining you from the new Windsor Bridge, and I just want to give you a quick look at that extraordinary scene of the Hawkesbury here this morning. That water right up to the base of the brand new bridge. On an ordinary day, on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning, it should be rolling green slopes into the river there, but instead it is completely underwater, and you can see all sorts of things travelling down the river this morning: logs, trees, branches, debris. And it is set to be this way for at least the next 24 hours because this rain is set to continue right throughout the day. And this is the result. You can see right throughout parts of Western Sydney, police are on standby, closing roads because it is simply too dangerous to get out and about. We've had 100 millimetres of rain here in Sydney over the past 24 hours. The hardest hit, Wahroonga, 115 millimetres. But we're expecting the same conditions today, effectively, that we saw yesterday. So if you were stuck inside at home, couldn't go anywhere, had to plug up the doors to make sure that rain didn't get in, you can expect much of the same thing across Sydney today with similar conditions. Warragamba Dam has effectively overflowed, and we saw that happen several hours ago. Now that's being slowly let out, but certainly incredible scenes at the dam there. The last time we saw similar scenes at Warragamba Dam was 2016. It gives you some perspective on just how significant this rain event has been. An incredibly busy 24 hours for our emergency services teams. Spare a thought for the SES, who've had thousands and thousands of call-outs over the past few days. And as I said, not set to let up anytime soon.
Very dangerous situation. Gabby, thank you. We'll check in with you throughout the morning. Now to Sarah Stewart in Picton, southwest of Sydney, where residents were warned to evacuate overnight. Good morning to you, Sarah. How is it where you are?
Yeah, good morning to you, Richard. Well, thankfully here in Picton this morning, it's not too bad, but I want to give you a look at the preparation that went on here last night. We're in the main street. The creek is just behind us. Now, Picton has flooded in the past. It comes up from the creek and down into this area. So you can see all the sandbags along here, all the plastic along, all the furniture in the shops are up on the tables. They were ready. There was an evacuation warning, but it seems that thankfully, even though they got 159 millimetres in the creek rose to just under 6 metres. Fortunately, it hasn't happened yet, but take a listen to the SES last night.
We're actually giving them a hand as they sandbag multiple businesses through the main street, filling sandbags, doing whatever the local guys needed. We were just here to be that extra helping hand for them.
Now, they're not out of the woods yet. We know there is a lot more heavy rain coming today. Looking at the forecast, it could hit at around 9 a.m. this morning and continue for several hours. But look, they are prepared and everybody is just crossing their fingers, hoping for the best. Richard?
Nine's Grace Fitzgibbon in Kempsey this morning on the New South Wales mid-north coast. Good morning to you, Grace. How has the community held up through the night?
Good morning. It's certainly a very nervous time for the community here in Kempsey. There are evacuation orders across several low-lying areas right across the mid-north coast. Overnight, we have seen more rainfall, which is very concerning for the Macquarie River. The larger it swells, the more likely it is to break its banks, and that is the worry. If it does so, it has the potential to inundate the entirety of the CBD, which could have flow-on effects for power, internet, phone lines and sewerage here. In nearby Port Macquarie, it's a similar story. The Hastings River is continuing to rise there. We saw it break records near Wauchope yesterday, reaching 11 metres, which broke the 1968 record of 9.5 metres. It's certainly, as I mentioned, a very nervous time for everybody in this community, and all eyes today are on that Macquarie River.
Okay, let's bring in 9 weather presenter Gavin Morrison now for his analysis. Gavin, extraordinary rainfall and flooding. When's it all going to end?
For these hotspot areas, we'll see some reprieve on Wednesday, so we're just over the halfway mark. The tail of this system will whip across the northern rivers and across eastern Queensland for the second half of the week, but it won't be anything like this situation. This is truly unprecedented here. This will go down in history as one of the most significant weather events for Australia's east coast in recorded history. We're now not talking millimetres of rain. We're over the half-metre mark now throughout parts of the mid-north coast. Those numbers are climbing towards the metre mark. That's an extraordinary amount of rain, and it is going to ramp up. We've got more hotspots throughout the Sydney catchment area, headed towards the Nepean, the Hawkesbury. There's an incredibly large blob on the radar. That is heavy rain moving across Gloucester, Bulahdelah area that has seen extensive flooding, moving over the Greater Hunter. The river systems that have been very heavily impacted, the Manning, the Macquarie, the Hastings, Nambucca valleys, these are all going to see very intense rainfall as we move through today, and that includes also the Coffs Coast. And then we're going to see a truly extraordinary end to this when 2 big weather systems collide on Tuesday.
And it is not just flooding. A mini tornado is smashing its way through Chester Hill in Sydney's west. More than 50 homes were damaged, while Chester Hill High School will be closed tomorrow due to debris.